Hi, welcome to this episode. I'm Trajan King, and this is BryCox. And we came together for this video because we're talking about something at the beginning of this new year that I think affects all of us throughout the year, throughout our careers as entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And the subject is staying motivated.
Yeah, so how do you stay motivated? So, Bry, why don't you kick this off? You've been at business for over 20 years, working for yourself, doing the same thing with some variation, but you've been doing what you've been doing a long time.
Yeah.
How do you keep up your motivation? I'm sure you've had those days or years where you're like, oh man, I can't stand this anymore. I'm so tired. I need a vacation. I want to
That definitely happens.
So how do you keep that up?
There's a few things. I think one is constantly trying to grow, constantly trying to learn. I attend a lot of conventions, partly because I'm speaking at them, but I also try to make sure I'm learning from the other speakers and picking up new things. A big one, I think, is constantly reading books. I try to make sure I'm reading a couple books a month, all the time. Just always reading books.
On photography or on your business, or just in general?
Just in general. Just sometimes they're like political books. Sometimes they're religious books. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're business books on sales or all sorts of things, or technical aspects of photography. And I just mix them. You know, what am I in the mood for? And I literally buy more books than I can read fast. I just have a stack and I just go through them as fast as I can, just reading.
Good. It also gives you ideas
that
you can use to refresh your business and do things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get boring.
Yep, because I feel like a lot of the reason that we get maybe depressed or even need motivation is the biggest activity that most Americans watch more TV than they do work hours in their life.
That's sad.
And it is really sad. Like, it's 13 non-interrupted hours, or not 13 non-interrupted years on average for Americans.
Of watching TV?
Of watching TV.
Oh, wow.
Because people start watching TV before they're born, and they continue to watch, before they're working.
Yeah.
From like age one,
and before
basically.
They're born, too.
And
right?
before they're born. But from like age one up until they get a job, which often is sometimes later in life, depending on how much schooling.
Right. And it's not just Americans. I know we have a lot of non-Americans who watch this and listen to this podcast. It's you guys too.
Yeah, you guys.
Everybody watches too much TV.
But it focuses on dysfunction, because that's how you can create drama. That's how you create, news isn't it's all about what's, dramatic. And so it's this constant focus on negativity. And eventually I think that's the other problem with like social media, is it's this constant focus on everybody else's lives.
That's a good point. About a month ago, I actually deleted Facebook off of my phone and deleted Instagram off of my phone and stopped logging into Twitter more than once a day. I still log in about once a day to Facebook because I've got a group there. But I found that my happiness level has gone way up and my stress level has gone way down. Because what happens is you log into social media, like you log into Facebook, and then you start scrolling, and then after about 10 minutes, you think, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I just wasted 10 minutes. And I'm a little bit sad because I saw like these stories that have nothing to do with me, or like what's happening in politics. And that gets me angry.
Yeah, they're posting
puppy dogs that were abused.
Dramatic
that makes me sad.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's like because in order to get attention, it has to be more dramatic than the last thing. So they're just constantly packing it in with drama.
Business-wise, you see one of your competitors or one of your peers that's doing really well.
Yeah.
And
seemingly
well, because you never know on social media.
Reel.
So part of you is like, oh, I'm so happy for them. But then another part of you is like, I hate them. I'm so sad. Why am I not doing that? And it's hard to be motivated when there are all these external stimuli around you pulling at you.
Yeah.
And distracting you and maybe demotivating you.
Yep. So I think reading is the counter to that. Just constantly reading good things, filling your mind with good things. But when I'm speaking, sometimes there's an old quote from Zig Ziglar, which is that we have to take baths and showers every day. And it's the same with motivation. Like, it's not something you just do once and you're good for a while. Like, you have to literally do it constantly, because the natural situation of most things in life is
entropy.
Degradation. Yeah, it goes down. I have to keep painting my house or it falls apart. I have to keep mowing my lawn or it gets crazy. And then the other big thing for me personally is I try to work out at least 30 minutes, if not more, every day.
That's good.
And so sometimes, I have like some little wireless earbuds and I put on podcasts, I put on audiobooks, And it's very rarely ever music. It's just, one, I'm working my body, but I'm also working my mind. And I come home feeling way better about everything, no matter how stressful of a day I've got coming up.
Yep. It's the old saying about sharpening the saw.
Yeah.
I think it was Abraham Lincoln, might have been Einstein. Anyway, somebody famous who was asked, like, what would you do if you had an hour to chop down a tree?
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't George Washington, or saw down a tree. And he said, I would spend 55 minutes sharpening the saw and then 5 minutes chopping down the tree.
That's in one of your videos.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that before.
Yeah, but it's one of your, I'm trying to think of what the interview was. I remember editing this video for you. We filmed this with on your site. It was one of your guys you were interviewing.
Oh, yeah.
Talked about that.
I remember vaguely that we talked about that.
Yeah.
So sharpening the saw, giving yourself time to rest, exercise, do something besides work. I think we've talked about this before, that your productivity actually goes down the more you work. So if you're working 14 hours a day, only about 6 of those are productive.
Yeah.
So doing something besides work is actually going to help you be motivated, because you're going to be more energetic, you're going to do a better job, and just going to be happier.
Yeah. And then one other thought, lists. I keep lists.
So do I. That's on my list of things to talk about.
On my list. I was going to talk about lists. Yeah, I'm sure because I know you're really good at time management. But that's one of the things, like, there's a lot of things I can do in a day, and I literally just go, okay, what's the most important? What's the next most important? Mm-hmm. And I just have this list, and I can never get everything on the list done.
Right.
But at least I got the most important stuff done. And then I still have time in the day to do some other fun things if I want.
Yeah, and I was going to talk about that, because one of the number one ways that I stay motivated is having small successes. Because nothing motivates like success, and nothing demotivates like failure. So if you've got this huge goal that you've mapped out that's going to take a year long, then that whole year you're just plugging away, and your motivation just gradually goes down. But if you can take that big goal and break it up into small pieces, then you can have a success every day. It's like losing weight or gaining weight in my case. So if you want to lose 20 pounds, for example, then you set a goal, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in the next, how long would that take? 6 months or whatever. So you've got this goal 6 months away. So every day you haven't achieved that goal, it's hard to stay motivated, because you're like, I'm not there yet, 6 months away.
Yeah.
But if you change your goals around, so it's saying, I'm going to exercise every day and I'm going to eat well every day, then if you do those things, every day you get a win. Every day you feel motivation. You can check that off your list. You're developing a habit. And then those habits are going to lead to that eventual goal. But rather than failing every day until 6 months later you succeed, you can succeed every day.
Yeah.
And every day you're checking that off your list, then you're giving yourself a boost and you're staying motivated by having that success. And the second part is, the way to have that daily success is to schedule it, is to write it down. Write it down in a list, the things you're going to want to do that day. And then secondly, schedule it on your calendar. So when you start the day in the morning, you've got things already scheduled out, so you don't get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm starting the day. What am I going to do today?
Yeah.
What do I need to, then you're just kind of floating around.
I guess I'll get on Facebook for a while until I figure out what to do.
Right. Then you end up wasting time. But if you start the day off strong with it already planned out, you plan it out the day before, plan your week out, like on Friday or Sunday night, then you start the day, you've already got it all there in front of you. You've got your schedule, you've got your list. You can just attack it right out of the gate. And then at the end of the day, you look back and at the list, things are checked off. You look at your calendar. Okay, I followed my calendar more or less. Sometimes you might deviate, but if you're following it more or less, you're getting things done. Then at the end of the day, you're more motivated, not less motivated, because you have succeeded during that day.
Yeah. There's a book by Brian Tracer. He talks about putting the hardest thing, the thing you want to put off all day, just do that one first. Get it done.
Right.
Sometimes it's a phone call. I got to make this phone call. I got to contact this person. Like maybe it's like bill collecting, or maybe it's just whatever it is. There's something you just like, I really don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And his point is, do it at the first of the day, be done with it.
Yeah.
And then the whole rest of the day goes better.
Or the things that are the most difficult for you.
Yeah.
Like I do all my writing in the morning, because that's mentally draining.
Okay.
And I do all of responding to emails and checking my bank accounts and all that. at the end of the day because that's easy.
All of my
I'm doing
banking
is-
accounts.
all-
All of them.
all 2 of my banking accounts. It's easy to count like a dollar at a time, right?
Right.
No, do all those easy things of checking the accounts at the end.
Yeah.
Because that's the brainless activity. So
Yep.
I totally agree. Start with the hard, time-consuming stuff in the morning, and then get it easy. It's like working out. Do all the heavy weights at the first of the workout,
Then,
and then
finish off with smaller stuff and keep till you're burned out.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
Then you have a much better workout.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, so if you have any ways that you stay motivated, then we'd love to hear from you. Email either of us or comment below this video. And if you like this video, then we'd love it if you would actually like it or post a comment or share it with your friends or your
Absolutely
coworkers.
share it. Yeah.
Absolutely share it.
Yeah. So my website's BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com in Trajan.
InvincibleStartup.com.
All right.
Ciao, America.
Thank you.